Hey guys, it's me, Space Ghost. Today we're going to be talking about who I actually think unalived Dee Dee Blanchard, and I believe it wasn't Nick Godejohn. As much as everyone wants to believe that it was, Nick was the one who was charged. It was very cut and dry pretty much. I think Dan and Gypsy had a lot bigger role in that than they actually claim to have. Mind you, Dee Dee Blanchard was stabbed, I believe, 17 times, and a lot of people are speculating that Gypsy did a lot of those and Nick Godejohn only stabbed her 4 times, but I have an ulterior idea. Do y'all remember Dan? You know, Gypsy Rose met this guy at Comic-Con or something like that, and they sparked up a relationship. He's the guy where Gypsy Rose ran to his house to run away from her mom, but she left her phone. And honestly, the real tea behind that is Gypsy purposefully left her phone for her mother to find her, and she planned on robbing Dan with her mother. That was a whole setup, but I do genuinely believe that she cared for Dan and wanted to run away with Dan, not Nick, because she was still talking to Dan while she was actively dating Nicholas Godejohn. And mind you, Dan knew that Gypsy could walk. Dan knew that Gypsy was older and all of these things. The same exact things that Nicholas Godejohn knew about Gypsy, about her true self and how her mother was faking all these illnesses and cancer, the wheelchair. Dan knew these things as well, and Dan wanted to run away with Gypsy just as much as Gypsy wanted to run away with Dan. I personally believe that Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Dan planned this entire thing and wanted to pin Nick as the scapegoat. They wanted to set him up and make him take the fall for this so Gypsy and Dan could run away and live happily ever after. Because remember, Gypsy got Nick the weapon to unalive Dee Dee. Gypsy also told Nick not to wear gloves, and Nicholas was like, wait, but won't they get my fingerprints? And she's like, no, it's fine, don't wear gloves. Nick ended up wearing gloves anyways, but it just seems like she wanted him to get caught. And that really goes to show just how deep this manipulation is and what kind of person that Gypsy is, because she loved Dan, but she kept on over a 2-year relationship of constant talking and manipulating Nick just so she could be with Dan. Because remember, Nicholas Godejohn got into town via the train ticket. The date on that, I believe it was 2 days before the crime even occurred. Dee Dee was already dead when Nick got into town. I believe that Gypsy and Dan unalived Dee Dee Blanchard together, and they tortured her. There were bruises on her wrists as if she had been tied up. There were cigarette burns on her. I believe they tortured her for days. Unalived. This is all alleged. Mind you, we don't know. This is my opinion. This is speculation. I believe that Gypsy and Dan tortured Dee Dee for multiple days until Nicholas Godejohn got into town. And by the time he got into town, she was already dead. But if the lights are off and Dee Dee is on the bed, not moving, right? I believe they manipulated Nick into thinking that he's going to do it. He's going to be the savior. He's going to be Gypsy's white knight. The lights are off. Go in there. Do what you need to do. So Nick would genuinely think that he unalived her, because if Nick knew that she was already unalived, I don't think he would have kept up the story for the past 10 years that, no, I did it, it was me, and showing genuine remorse. So I think they manipulated him and played him into thinking that he actually unalived Dee Dee, even though she was already unalived, and he didn't know. So there's zero way that he could have backtracked and said, no, it wasn't me, she was already unalived when I got there. They made him think he genuinely did it. And mind you, whenever Gypsy bought train tickets to run away, she didn't get one for Nick. I think Dan was already there. They did the crime. And whenever Nick got there, it was already done. But in his mind, he just did it. They were on a high. Whenever they were in the motel room after they left, because mind you, there's a lot of speculation that whenever Nick and Gypsy hooked up after the crime, it wasn't in her bedroom next door. It was right next to Dee Dee's body, because Gypsy kept saying how she just kept staring at her Barney stuffed animal. She kept staring at the Barney stuffed animal, and that Barney stuffed animal was seen in the crime scene photos right next to Dee Dee's body. So I believe they did it right next to her. And I don't know if y'all know this, but whenever they went to the motel or hotel, whatever it was, and they were, now right now he's eating a brownie, and now he's gonna eat me, ha ha ha. Nick was crying, and Gypsy was making fun of him because he felt so bad about it. He was freaking the hell out. He was asking, what did I just do? I can't believe we did this. Oh my God. Meanwhile, before the crime even took place, let's remember, Nick kept asking her, are you sure? I don't know. I don't think we should do it. We should just run away. Nick wanted to run away. Nick did not want to commit this crime. And Gypsy literally was like, nope, you have to. You have to do it. And again, she forced him into doing that. But Nick showed immediate remorse, and Gypsy made fun of him and made him feel bad for feeling bad. Her whole plan was to run away with Dan and pin Nick go to John, which I think is absolutely sick and twisted, that you can manipulate someone for 2 years, and then after the crime is committed, you got what you wanted, you were going to leave him with Dan, because remember, she only bought 1 ticket out of town. She didn't get one for Nick. And even to this day, she's so heartless towards Nick, and I get it. She shouldn't be, like, professing her love. Like, obviously, she didn't feel that way, and she never did feel that way. But the way that she's like, yeah, I can't really think about him. Like, oh, well, when this man threw his life away for you, you manipulated this man for 2 straight years, every single day, to do your bidding. He threw his entire life away for you. And you just can't be fucking bothered to have him cross your mind whatsoever. And it's because she never genuinely loved him. She never genuinely planned on being with him. She never gave a fuck about Nick Godejohn. He was just her pawn. What do y'all think about this speculation? This is all alleged once again. This is just an idea. This is what I think potentially could have happened. What do y'all think in the comments? Let me know.